Alright, so here we are, getting another step closer to startup. Had a couple concerns as far as the motor though, even though everything spins and looks like we got good compression. As you remember, we went through, cleaned out the carburetor. It's pretty much done. We ran into one bigger problem. If you can look in the bowl right here, you can see the little step up area, and you can see right here, unfortunately we tried to fix a hole that was in there. We tried soldering and a few other things. We unfortunately went with the JB Weld fuel tank repair. I don't know if I like it, but at least we can get a review and answer all those questions. Walking through the shop. Here we are with the bike. A couple projects going on. Pull the forks off. Try to get them freed up. They got still some stuff inside there. I got some stuff soaking. I'm going to clean up some of the rust. And we're going to rebuild them, but we do have movement. They were locked up before. Soon enough, I'm going to pull them apart and rebuild them and put them on. I got the other parts for the triple clamp so we can attach it. And when it came in, we were missing a bunch of different parts. We were missing a couple of bearing races, all the ball bearings, the adjusting nut, and now I have all that stuff, just not ready to put it on yet. Moving over here. When we got the bike, we had a couple problems right here. That guy was seized. He's a mechanical advanced. Pulled him off. We've got the video on that one and how we cleaned him all up and freed him up. The other thing is the bike came in, did not have any points. You can see the points there. The old wiring, it's still not in the greatest of shape, but I was able to fix it and wire it so that we can go in and start it. I took the 2 battery wires. Sorry, I'm holding the camera instead of that. I got the 2 battery keels right here, jumped that to a battery, put 12 volts to it. Then, it's hard to see in here because of some of this, but I've got the coil right here. And if you see that I've got this brown wire and this red wire, this brown wire and the red wire, this is putting power to the ignition coil right there, and now with everything hooked up and closely timed, we were able to crank and get spark. I've got a video on that one where you can see the spark. Now where I'm at is I can either put the bike together, or what I have another concern with, or more of an important question, is the condition of the motor. When we pulled the carburetor, it had a bunch of junk in it. When we pulled it all apart, there was a bunch of sand and dust and everything in there. We have reed valves which are inside here, which most likely blocked all of that stuff from getting in there. Everything seems to be good in the rotating assembly, but we're not absolutely certain. Been up for a few days trying to figure out the best way to handle it, and I don't want to just throw the carburetor on there and get it to start because I don't know what the condition is inside, and if it's good and dirty, I'd rather clean it up rather than actually just grenade it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the jug off. That means we're going to take off the head. We're going to do the piston sleeve. We're going to take both of those off. That'll give us the piston pin, the connecting rod, and the lower rotating assembly, and it'll give us a good way to inspect all that for dirt, for wear, side play, check how the bearings and everything are. And this motor's got low miles, about 2,000, but also with some of the other things we've seen is it looks like it was ridden pretty hard. My fingers are crossed that everything's going to come through pretty well and we're going to be able to go back together with it, but I'd rather not put a bunch of money and time into it without inspecting this by taking that extra step. I'd rather take the step now because it's only a couple more gaskets. There's a base gasket that'll go right up down here, and then I'll have a head gasket that goes right up in there. It's really not hard to take this thing off. I've got an oil line and an exhaust pipe that I have to take off. I got 4 bolts, hopefully they're not locked and seized up, and it should be pretty quick. I should probably have this thing off in about 15-20 minutes. Then I can do a good visual inside. Let me know if I'm going back together and going to try to kickstart it and run it, or if I've got a bigger project with the motor and if it's the project I want to take, or if I'm going to plan B the bike and just make it look pretty and stick it on a wall. After all, I got the bike for about $100. Once we know that the motor and everything is really good, then we will finish with some of the other projects. That's where we're at. Stay tuned.